Canada offers 4 different ways for educating children: public school, publicly funded Catholic school, private school, and homeschooling. Just as in the United States, these private schools are not funded by the government and parents must pay tuition for their children to attend. In most regions of Canada, children are required to begin attending school at the age of 5 or 6. However, preschool is available for parents who prefer to start their children younger. They are legally required to continue schooling for 12 years, completing primary, middle school, and high school. Some provinces, however, have different requirements. For example, Quebec only funds 11 years of schooling, and the province only requires students to attend until the age of 16. There's also no middle school structure here. These differences are mainly due to primary policymaking being done on the provincial level. The Canadian school year is longer than its American counterpart, lasting 194 days but encompassing the same months, September to June, with similar holidays. A unique feature related to Canadian education is their commitment to student diversity and individuality. Teachers and administrators are committed to providing individualized attention to all students for both academic and social success in the Canadian school system. The individualized needs of each student are assessed and support plans are made for each student, which is a major contributor to the nation's academic success and closing the achievement gap. Canada offers instruction in both English and French, as well as English second language and French second language classes. Schools and communities employ people called settlement workers, whose responsibility is to help newcomers to Canada adjust to life there. These people work directly with families and their children to ease immigrants into both the school system and society. Schools are also searching for how to improve the health of their students to better their learning abilities. Currently, many schools in Canada are incorporating physical education and health education into the school day, as well as healthier lunch options. There's also an emphasis placed on adult education in Canada. A variety of different programs are offered based on the ability level of those attending. Some programs aim to assist adults whose literacy and basic skill levels fall below the high school level. Others are continuing education in order to help adults receive high school diplomas or learn either English or French.
In Canada, the schools are not federally controlled or appropriated. Instead, legislation and funding comes from each provincial government. Within each province, an elected group of officials make up the Ministry of Education for that province, which is headed by an appointed Minister of Education. This body is responsible for writing and developing the curriculum in those schools. Across the provinces, education and curricula differ to best serve each constituency, whose differences in history, geography, language, and culture require a more specialized form of instruction and material. Despite the delegation of education to local governments, curricula across Canada remain quite similar. In all provinces, students engage in traditional school subjects, including math, reading, social studies, science and technology, art, music, health, physical education, and second language programs. Most provinces allow teachers and other school professionals to assess and grade the students on their competency in each subject however they see fit. However, parents have made a recent push in the past 20 years to come up with a standardized system for assessing students. This is why many provinces have begun to incorporate standardized testing, which is intended to hold teachers and school boards accountable. Unlike in the United States, the federal government does not require formal testing, and among those provinces which do use standardized tests, very few require them annually. Test preparation is not an integral part of the school day in most provinces, with local boards of education claiming that assessments are fair and are already based on the standard curriculum. Theoretically, students should be adequately prepared for the tests without any additional preparation outside of the normal curriculum. Testing occurs in most provinces at specific stages in a child's development with the intention of ensuring that they have the necessary foundation for a productive education.
Enrolling the children in school was not a difficult process. It was a challenge because, for one, we are coming from a new country with all the different certificates from that country. We had to get those attested, certified, whatever. But once we went to get our applications in school, it was an easy process.
Unlike many countries, Canada does not have a national educational system. Each province and territory has control over its own education programs, and these vary considerably. However, in all cases, you will be legally required to enroll your children in school if they are of school age. Many provinces and territories offer kindergarten programs for preschool children, but in general, children start school in Canada around 6 years of age, and most provinces or territories offer 12 years of instruction. Parents do not have to pay for their children to attend public schools in Canada. Most education is provided by elected school boards in Canada. Contact the local school board in the area where you plan to live to find out how to enroll your children and to see which school they will need to attend. There are also many private schools in Canada. Some of these are publicly funded and some are not. See the links provided to research private and religious schools in the province, territory, or community in which you plan to settle.
In Canada, students rotate to various classes, and depending on the school, oftentimes some classes are skipped and/or extended depending on the day, which is a schedule many Maryland public schools have adopted. One of the issues that is too often overlooked in the States is the funding model for public schools that is based on a large part of local and district property taxes, rather than allocated on a citywide or even statewide basis. In Toronto, the City School Board allocates funding across the entire city in a fair way to level the playing field for all children and to make sure that the resources for the basic right of education are spread out equally. There are also innovative publicly funded charter schools with different focuses such as music and sports, and parents can use a voucher system to transfer their children to other schools quite easily. This has an impacting effect on the performance of the students because oftentimes in the States, students are struggling to get much needed supplies. But in Canada, those students don't have that issue because the City School Board takes care of those needs. Teachers especially claim not only to have affection for the students, but in some cases even claim to love them. Across the board, teachers are constantly engaging in multiple different activities throughout the day, with those students strengthening the teacher-student bond relationship. Students oftentimes work together within the classroom, learning how to work within a group as well as learning leadership skills.
Teachers in Canada must be certified through a bachelor degree program similar to that of the United States. However, they have stricter standards. In many cases, teachers are required to receive an undergraduate degree in another field before being able to complete teacher education programs. Teacher education programs place an emphasis on field experience but also contain academic disciplines and pedagogical training. In order to be accepted to a professional program, applicants must have prior work with children and write essays related to these learning experiences. Applicants that are rejected often did not meet these additional requirements. During Schooling for Education, students address many areas of teaching such as teaching principles, learning, assessment and instruction, educational foundations, child development and special needs, school organization, communication, and social aspects of education.
In Canada, teachers are typically represented by a union or teachers' association, which negotiates with the provincial government and comes to terms on a collective bargaining agreement regarding salaries, schedules, and teacher standards. In most provinces, salary is determined by level of education the applicant has attained, as well as by their teaching experience. Teachers who have taught for longer and have achieved a master's degree tend to earn higher salaries within each province than those who have completed only a bachelor's degree. Salaries differ widely between the provinces. For example, new teachers in the Yukon Territory make almost twice as much as new teachers in Ontario. However, teacher salaries in Canada are quite comparable to other professions with similar education requirements.
This project helped me to see that there is a lot that can be learned throughout the study of worldwide education. Education systems around the globe can be using advances in communication and technology to address their own weaknesses. As we saw in studying Canada, the U.S. has a lot to learn about how to make our students the most successful.
This project was very interesting to me because of the similarities between the United States and Canada. I mean, the education systems are really comparable, but there's still a lot to be learned between the differences that we have, and that should really be explored. And what works here necessarily won't work there, but it's definitely worth taking a look at. This was very valuable in doing that.
What I have learned from this project is that there is still a lot of room for growth, and that school systems are constantly changing to fit the needs of their students. There are vast differences between the school systems just within the different provinces of Canada, let alone between Canada and the U.S. But some of the similarities the two nations share are that both are striving to make their educational systems better and are investing in innovative ways to strengthen their students and to make them strong leaders. The impact that this project had on me was the variations between the different schools and how, even though each found their own teaching style, they were accepted and put together like a mosaic, as compared to the U.S., which is trying to blend all systems into a unified system.